The semifinals was amazing, and there were a lot of great dances because everybody put their A game on. And we will also announce who will be in the finals next week a little bit later in this video. So let's get into it. How's it going, guys? It's Eric Sharkey, aka Dance with Stars Superfan, back with another video, and we will be recapping everything that happened during that night of the semifinals. The first round was the Redemption Dance, who are teamed up with one of the judges to bounce back from their worst dance that they did this season. And the next round will be one unlearned dance, and plus, if you like this video, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a like in this video and leave a comment down below, as well as turn on the post notification bell to keep you up to date on my next Dance with the Stars content video. So, let's get started. First up, Lauren and Gleb doing the Paso Doble Redemption Dance to Stronger by Kelly Clarkson, who was working with Len. Len thought it was a lovely mix of aggression and expression. He wanted to see even more Paso choreography like they worked on, but it was a terrific routine and it was so much improved. Bruno thought she could handle it with all the male pros on the dance floor. It was more centered and the shapes were better, and she only went wrong a little bit once. Carrie Ann thinks she has come so far, but she's locking her knees a little bit though. Even though her knees were a little bit locked, it was still a good dance compared to her first Paso Doble. So the judges' scores are, they were all 9s, giving them a score 27 out of 30. Next up, Kaylin Whitney doing a Tango Redemption Dance to Get Ready by the Temptations, working with Bruno. Bruno was so proud of Kel, who was the perfect student and delivered a proper tango, but there was just one mistake where he went on the wrong foot. Carrie Ann says he has become so refined, he had come this furthest than she thought, and it was fantastic. Len liked the intensity and he attacked the dance, but he was missing a few heel leads. I noticed he made a couple mistakes during the dance, but at least it wasn't skippy, and there were a lot of points that were much improved compared to week 1's tango during the premiere. So the judges' scores are, they were all 9s as well, giving them a score 27 out of 30. Next up, Ali and Sasha doing the Viennese Waltz Redemption Dance to Perfect by Ed Sheeran. Working with Len. Len thought it had lovely gentleness and the technique was far better, but it lost a little bit of fluidity at times. Bruno thought it was a great flow, it was so touching and pretty and a joy to watch. Carrie Ann says her phrasing is beyond, and she thanks Ali for pouring herself into the dance. That was a little better than her first one, and Len did a great job training her. So the judges' scores are, Carrie Ann a 10, Len a 9, Bruno a 10, which gives them a score 29 out of 30. Next up, Hannah and Alan doing a redemption dance to the rumba to Dancing with a Stranger by Sam Smith featuring Normani Corday, working with Carrie Ann. As Hannah apologizes to Carrie Ann for being so emotional, and it seemed like she was dismissing Carrie Ann's guidance, and Carrie Ann gave her another hug because Hannah knows that Carrie Ann was a little hard on her at times, but those things that she said were trying to help her get through, and it's Dancing with Stars, and there's a lot of stress sometimes, and plus, for what it's worth. Carrie Ann thinks Hannah improved a heck of a lot. Len thought she married the movements of her hips and the arms beautifully. Bruno was impressed by how Hannah placed her feet and pushed them through her hips. That was 100 times a lot better than the week 3 rumba, and her hip action and the moves were so much better, and all thanks to Carrie Ann. And the judges' scores are, they were all 9s, giving them a score 27 out of 30, which I undoubtedly believe that should have been a perfect score. Next up, James and Emma doing a redemption dance to the cha-cha to Candid Heat, which they were working with Len as well. Len asked them to cut out the gimmicks last time when they performed the cha-cha, and this time he still wanted more cha-cha. There was too much messing about with all that disco stuff, but Bruno thought it was a disco cha-cha extravaganza, but he was off his timing multiple times, which surprised him. Carrie Ann thought it was really entertaining, but his posture was broken and he needs to watch those small details. That cha-cha was okay compared to week 2, and there were some really cool moves as well, even though Len didn't like the gimmicks and there were some mistakes, but it was still a great dance though. And the judges' scores are, they were all 8s, giving them a score 24 out of 30. Now, on to round 2. First up, Lauren and Gleb dancing to the Viennese Waltz to Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw. Len liked the elements of slow waltz along the Viennese Waltz. It was a lovely dance. Bruno thought it was so sophisticated, so classy, but what really impressed him was their chemistry. They were like a dream couple. Carrie Ann thinks they truly blossomed, which is good. And Lauren thanks Carrie Ann for teaching her to breathe through her movements. That was by far her best dance ever in my perspective. It was smooth and the steps were terrific. And the judge scores are, there were all 9s, giving them a score 27 out of 30, which gives them a total of 54 out of 60. In my honest opinion, that should have been a perfect score. Next up, Kaylin Whitney dancing to the contemporary to I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston, honoring a friend of his that died at the age of 16. But I don't want to get into details of it because of the respect of the family. Bruno loved the fluidity and ease of movement, plus the sincerity and honesty of the performance. Carrie-Anne was in tears over how Kel shared his truth as well as telling his story, and she is so grateful and she thanked him for that. And Kel even got a standing ovation from Len, which prompts a standing ovation from the entire judges table as well as the audience. Len first stood up and clapped like this. Like that. I thought that dance was so beautiful and touching, and I'm so proud of Kel because my contender prediction of Kel Mitchell has fully come true. And the judge scores are, it was a perfect score, which gives them a score 30 out of 30, which gives them a total of 57 out of 60. Next up is Allie and Sasha dancing to the Charleston to Sing 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 by Benny Goodman. Carrie-Anne thought it was a showstopper that proved to her that she deserves to be in the finale. Len thought it was a joyful performance with lots of Charleston references. Bruno thought it was sparkling, exuberant, barn-stopping fun, and he liked the swing and the Lindy Hop references in there too. I really liked the tricks and the movements in the Charleston, and they pulled it off really well, and it was the one last chance to prove to herself that she can be in the finals next week. And judge scores are, it was a perfect score, which gives them a score 30 out of 30, which gives them a total of 59 out of 60. Next up, James and Emma dancing to the foxtrot to Take Me to Church by Horizon. And he also received some bad news that the baby they were supposed to have, they announced that they had a miscarriage, which was really sad to say the least. And my thoughts and prayers go out to James and his family. Len credits him with the dancing with so much feeling and emotion after such a difficult week. Bruno says, we were with you all the way through the great turns and beautiful lines. Carrie-Anne says, I don't know how you got through this week, just how and in the midst of all this tragedy. She felt silly talking about his posture, but she loved his posture during the dance. She thought his performance was poetry in motion. That dance was so touching, and even though he thought he wasn't going to be able to dance this week, he was able to stay strong throughout the week, and he did it for his family, so that is an amazing thing. And the judge scores are, they were all 9s, giving them a score 27 out of 30, which gives them a total of 51 out of 60. Last up, Hannah and Alan dancing to the contemporary to Lose You to Love Me by Selena Gomez. Bruno thought she did really well for a first-timer with a great dynamic in the lifts and drops. Carrie-Anne said you move beautifully, and she put a lot of trust in Alan on those lifts. Len isn't normally a fan of the contemporary, but he thought the emotion came out and it was a true couple dance. I like how she was able to move on from that dramatic season finale when she became the Bachelorette. It was a wonderful performance and Hannah did an amazing job. Both Hannah and Kel's contemporary dances were considered to be absolutely my favorite dances of that night. And judge scores are, they were all 9s, giving them a score 27 out of 30, which gives them a total of 54 out of 60. In my honest opinion as well, that should have been a perfect score. Now, let's talk about their scores. Allie and Sasha at the top with 59 points, Kaylin and Whitney at second place with 57 points, Hannah and Alan with 54 points, Lauren and Gleb tied at third with 54 points, and James and Emma at the bottom, shockingly, with 51 points. Now, let's talk about who's in the finals. First, they announced Kaylin and Whitney, Hannah and Alan, and lastly, was Lauren and Gleb. And Lauren was like, what? To be honest, I never expected Lauren and Gleb to make it to the finals, but you know what? I'll take it. I figure it was going to be a close one. So Alan and Sasha are in the bottom two for the third time, as well as James and Emma the first time. Both Carrie-Anne and Bruno vote to save Alan and Sasha, which means the sad part is James and Emma were voted off, which means they have denied their shots at being in the finals. I felt like they did a really good job throughout the season, and I never really expected for them to be this good since day one, and I'm so proud of James and Emma this season. Even though they started to struggle that night, they were able to maintain that. I know everyone felt that James deserved to be in the finals like me, and plus it was a very tough decision because they are both done really well. Because of it, James had the lowest scores of that night, so that changed everything. If James had a little better scores than Allie did, I probably think it would have changed everything. Most people felt like the judges did wrong for him to not keep him instead of Allie. Well, at least Cal and Hannah are safe actually. And that'll do it for this video. So next week will be the finals, and I'm super excited, especially the freestyles, which is a do or die dance to determine who will take home the Mirrorball. So my prediction on who will get 4th place probably either be Lauren and Gleb 100%, and I think Allie and Sasha will probably get 3rd place. Despite her being in jeopardy 3 times, I definitely think that she doesn't have a chance of winning. She might have a 50-50 chance of winning though, but we'll have to see. It's probably going to come down to either Hannah and Alan or Kendall and Whitney for the Mirrorball, since they both have been consistent just like Allie. But despite her being in jeopardy 3 times, that might change everything, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Eric Sharkey, aka Dance with Star Superfan. Catch you next time.